I always believed that family should be the one place where you feel safe, the one place where you can let your guard down. But I learned the hard way that blood doesn't always mean loyalty. The people I trusted most in this world took everything from me, or at least they thought they did. They took my house, my peace, my dignity, but what they didn't know was that it was all part of my plan. So, tell me, was I wrong for what I did next? Because sometimes the only way to deal with snakes is to become the gardener who sets the trap. It all started after my father passed away. He left behind an old but beautiful house, the one I grew up in. The walls had memories, laughter, and sometimes even tears. After the funeral, my family and I gathered for the reading of his will. I remember my brother Daniel and my sister-in-law Monica sitting there with smug looks on their faces. My mother had passed years earlier, so it was just me, Daniel, and our father's estate lawyer. My dad wasn't a rich man, but that house was everything. When the lawyer read that it was being left to me, not to Daniel, not to be sold, but to me alone, the look on Daniel's face said it all. I could practically see the jealousy boiling under his skin. He forced a smile, said congratulations, but I knew that was the moment he decided to destroy me. For a while, I tried to keep things civil. Daniel and Monica would visit occasionally, pretending to check on me, but really snooping around. They'd ask questions like, so what are you going to do with the place? Or, you sure you can afford to maintain this all by yourself? It was always passive aggressive. I ignored it. I had recently retired early after years of working in finance, so I had savings and a plan to restore the house. But the real trouble started when I was hospitalized for a few weeks after a fall. I trusted Daniel to keep an eye on the place while I was gone. That was my first mistake. When I got back, the locks were changed. My own brother had gone behind my back, claimed I was mentally unfit, and somehow manipulated the paperwork to take control of the property. I couldn't believe it. My name was still on the title, but he had filed some kind of guardianship order with the help of Monica's cousin, a lawyer with a reputation for bending the rules. They froze my bank accounts, and for the first time in my life, I felt powerless. I had nowhere to go except a small rental on the edge of town. I remember standing in front of my old house, staring at the windows, feeling like a ghost haunting my own life. But here's the thing: I didn't get angry. I got smart. Daniel thought I'd just roll over. He underestimated me, always had. What he didn't know was that while I was working in finance, I had handled a lot of messy, quiet cases involving property, fraud, and hidden money. I knew how people like him operated. I also knew how to dismantle them legally without ever breaking a sweat, so I started planning. Slowly, carefully, patiently, I began documenting everything. Every message he sent, every call he ignored, every accidental bill he forwarded to me. I built a file so thick it could crush him in court, but I wasn't ready to use it yet. I wanted him to dig his own grave. Months went by. Daniel and Monica started renovating the house, my house, bragging to the neighbors about turning it into a luxury Airbnb. They thought they were clever. They even listed it online, showing off all the updates, claiming it was theirs. I watched from afar through burner accounts and fake profiles. Every time they posted something new, I saved it. Every lie, every receipt, every transaction, they were practically handing me the rope I'd later use to hang them. Then, one evening, Daniel called me out of the blue. His tone was fake, sweet, like honey laced with poison. Hey, sis, he said, look, I know things got a little messy, but we've decided to sell the place. Market's good right now. I figured you might want your share. I almost laughed. My share. He was trying to gaslight me into thinking I didn't own it outright. I played along. Oh, how much are you thinking? He gave me some lowball number, clearly planning to pocket most of the profit. That's when I knew it was time to move. So that's the situation I was in. My own brother had stolen my house, renovated it with my inheritance, and was now planning to sell it and cut me out of the deal. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to think about something. What would you have done if your own family betrayed you like that? Would you fight back or let karma handle it? Comment below, because I genuinely want to know what you'd do in my shoes. All right, here's what I did. I reached out to Monica's cousin, the shady lawyer, pretending to be desperate. I told him I wanted to sign over the rest of my rights to Daniel in exchange for some quick cash. Of course, that was a lie. I knew lawyers like him couldn't resist a dirty deal. He agreed immediately and even offered to help with paperwork. What he didn't know was that I had already contacted a real attorney, one who specialized in fraud and real estate law. Together, we set a trap. We drafted documents that looked legitimate but included a hidden clause buried in the fine print, one that automatically nullified any sale of the property if it was found to be transferred under false pretenses or coercion. I signed them in front of Monica's cousin, pretending to be clueless, even teary-eyed. He smirked, thinking he'd just sealed the deal for Daniel. Meanwhile, my real lawyer filed a notice of pending litigation, lis pendens, on the property. That meant no legal sale could go through until the dispute was resolved. Daniel and Monica didn't know. They thought they were free to sell. The buyer, a developer, was scheduled to close in 2 weeks. I waited until the day before closing to make my move. I showed up unannounced at the house, walked right in through the front door, and saw them sitting at the kitchen island with champagne glasses in their hands, celebrating. Daniel froze mid-sip. Monica's face went pale. What are you doing here? She demanded. I smiled, calm and cold. Just visiting my house, I said. Your house, Daniel barked. It's ours now. You signed it over, remember? I nodded. Yes, I did. But did you read the contract? He looked confused. What do you mean? I leaned forward. You might want to check clause 14, subsection B. It says any transaction based on fraudulent misrepresentation is void, which means you don't own this house. Not legally, not morally, not at all. The color drained from his face. I handed him a copy of the legal notice. The sale's been frozen, I said. You can't sell, you can't rent, you can't do anything until the court sorts this out. He stammered. You can't do this? I smiled wider. I already did. Then I turned and left, leaving them both speechless. 2 days later, their buyer backed out after learning about the legal hold. Their loan for the renovations defaulted because they had used the house as collateral. The bank repossessed their car. Their dream of easy money went up in flames. But I wasn't done yet. During the investigation, my lawyer uncovered that they had forged several documents, including false medical statements about my mental unfitness. That was criminal fraud. We filed charges. Within months, Monica's cousin lost his license, and Daniel was forced to pay a massive settlement to avoid jail time. He sold his own home to cover legal fees. And guess who bought it quietly through a third party? Me.
Yeah.
I bought my brother's house, the same one he had bragged about for years. I didn't even move in. I rented it out cheap to a single mom and needed a fresh start. That felt better than revenge. It felt like justice. When I finally returned to my old house, I didn't feel the satisfaction I expected. It was bittersweet. The rooms felt quieter, emptier. Revenge doesn't heal wounds, it just stops the bleeding. But still, I couldn't help but smile when I saw the "for sale" sign they'd planted in the yard months ago, now faded and broken. I left it there as a reminder, not of what they did to me, but of what I survived. A few weeks later, Daniel called me. His voice was hoarse, defeated. You won, he said. You got everything. I replied softly, no, Daniel. I just took back what was mine. There was silence on the other end. Then he said something I'll never forget. I didn't think you had it in you. I chuckled. You never did. That was the last time we spoke. Looking back now, I don't regret what I did. Maybe it was ruthless. Maybe it was cold. But I'd spent my whole life being the forgiving one, the peacemaker, the one who backed down for the sake of family harmony. This time, I stood up for myself, and I did it the smart way. They thought they were playing chess, but they didn't realize I'd already mapped out every move long before they even sat down at the board. So, what do you think? Was I wrong for setting them up like that? Or was I just giving them a taste of their own medicine? Because sometimes, when people cross a line, the only language they understand is consequences. Like this video if you were on my side. And don't forget to subscribe for more real life stories like this. And seriously, drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them, and I want to know what you'd have done if your own family tried to take everything from you. Thanks for listening to my story. I'll see you all in the next one.